Greetings, people. It's Jared here, Wolfgang One, back to do another Transformers review. Apologies if there's a bit of an echo here. I'm sitting recording this intro at work without my main external microphone, so I'm sitting in the office. It's all probably a little bit echo. Anyway, today's review. Yes, today I am reviewing another one of the Studio Series 86 figures. Um, Mostly because I'm surprised I haven't got around to it yet, and also because I just want to get rid of the box because it's taking up space and I've got other boxes I want to get rid of. So I thought I'd get this review out of the way as a sort of a filler review, if you will. So we're going to be taking a look today at a figure that is for the most part okay, but a lot of people have said has been was most for the most part lackluster, and I can sort of see what they mean. So we are going to get in today for the review for Studio Series 86 Blurr.
Right, this is Blurr in his Studio Series 86 box. I'm mostly doing this review just so I can get rid of this bloody packaging. I've had it for ages. It's taking up room for no reason, and it's doing my head in. It's a standard 86 Studio Series box. You've got some nice artwork just on the front here. That artwork is duplicated on the sides, and you get a little bit of a blurb on the back with his alt mode and robot mode. Big screen inspired scale, detail, and backdrop. Blurr defends Autobot City until reinforcements arrive. So his backing, his display backing, is the first shot where he's introduced Autobot City with Magnus, Perceptor, and Spring, and all the others. Yeah, I mean it's decent box. Figure looks good in it. It remains to be seen whether or not the figure lives up to the expectation of what is contained within the box, and we shall have a look. Yeah, so not really a lot to say about this. I mean, if you've seen one Studio Series 86 box or Studio Series box in general, you've seen pretty much all of them. So I think we're just going to get straight on into taking him out of his plastic prison and getting onto the figure itself. Okay, so here is Studio Series 86 Blurr in his alt mode. It looks like a pretty decent, faithful recreation of his alt mode from the movie, actually, I've got to say. This figure isn't without a few issues. I mean, I appreciate the fact that they actually tried to give a sort of semi-accurate representation of Blurr. This has been remolded a couple of times to better suit other styles and things like that, other incarnations of Blurr. This one, I think the alt mode does it better than the robot mode. Weirdly enough, he's got a very, very strange look on his face in robot mode and things like that, which doesn't really necessarily suggest Blurr. It doesn't quite look like Blurr in the face. Everything else seems mostly on point. Some decent colours here. The two-tone blue works very, very well, complements itself very well. It's coming out slightly darker on the camera than it actually is in real life. In real life, the light blue is a very, very light blue. But apart from that, yeah, that's him there. He's got a very nice little tempered Autobot symbol just there. I mean, I was tempted to try and put maybe a silver one here somewhere. Or maybe just like a standard red one. I don't know, because that one there is very, very small. He's got a nice little cockpit just there with no real sculpted detail in it whatsoever for the cockpit. But he's got a nice little seating area just there. The alt mode, as I said, does it better than the robot mode. There are a couple of faults still with the alt mode, which I will come on to. First of all, I'm just going to show some of the things that Studio Series 86 Blurr came with. He came with one instruction booklet, which I should probably pay attention to before I try transforming this, even though it's not complicated. But whatever, one of those. He comes with his a white rifle, like sort of white molded plastic for his rifle. And he comes with his little shuttle repair welding tool that fits over his arm in that one split-second scene where he actually used it. So nice little touch there, I suppose, in terms of the accessories. One of the things that lets this down is the attack mode. Now, there are benefits, and there are what it gives with one hand, it clearly takes away with the other in terms of the attack mode, because it's actually pretty cool weapon storage and part storage. So what we do is we will put this gun underneath on this little tab just here, and like slide it into this little thing just here, like that, and then this section will sit very, very nicely. These two posts here will sit very nicely into these two ports on the underside, just like that, underneath, and then that he holds all his weapons and everything in one go. But that is the attack mode. And as attack modes go, it's a pretty shit one. You know how I feel about attack modes in general. This one really, really doesn't work. It's a shame that you've got all this underneath, really, because it would have been nice to have turned the rifle round and underneath and then put this on here. So to proper clear away the weapons storage, but whatever, you can't have everything. Yeah, he's from what I've heard, and I can sort of understand people's gripes on this. He's one of the least successful Studio Series 86 figures, but he was first wave, so I suppose there's that going for it. What I don't like about this mode is this section at the back here does not clip together very well. It's clearly supposed to, because of this port and post mechanism just here. But no matter how hard I try, I cannot get that to sit flush, and no reason why I can't get it to do it. It just won't do it. The clearance on it just doesn't allow for it, which is a shame. Apart from that, I think it's quite cool. I quite like the alt mode on this. It does exactly what it's supposed to do, for the most part. I'd say 99 points out of 100 get it right. It's that 1 point at the back here, and like sort of the clearance issue and everything like that for the weapons doesn't sit well with me. But whatever. The reason I cite that as a problem is because, you know, obviously the Studio Series 86 figures are slightly higher price point than normal deluxes and things like that. And yet they started fucking with people with these by remolding them and like recoloring them and putting them in different lines. Like, so for example, Studio Series Cup, the buzzworthy Bumblebee version had a much closer paint scheme to the 86 movie than the official Studio Series 86 model did. I don't own that yet, but I've seen pictures of it, and I'm like, that's a bit of a fuck to people who bought the first one. But whatever. So we're going to take this to transformation, ladies and gentlemen, because there's not really a lot else I can say about the hovering car mode. We've just got to try and remember how to do it. I think we need to start by separating these two sections just here, because everything tabs in. There we are. Start separating everything like that. And then bring these out to the sides. There we are. I'm making this up as I go along. In fact, I might not say anything throughout the course of the transformation and just let you watch what I'm doing. Fold down this seat just here, like that. Start unpegging all this shit, like that. And then start trying to get everything out the way. Bring those out to the sides. We're going to separate the back now, like that. Fold out these sections just like this. I'm not showing any of this on camera, fuck's sake. See, I can see it because I'm looking over the camera, but you know, whatever. Let's try zooming back out a little bit. There we are. So from there, we want to start folding this back section out for the legs, like this. Do the same on the other side. There we are. Fold this little thing in, like that, if you were that way inclined. That pops off for some reason. Why did that pop off? Don't be fucking popping off anything. Let's bring that out. Fold this bit round, I think, like this. And then bring this tab down for the foot. And then that is the leg basically done. I've got a horrible feeling this popped off from the wrong place. Yeah, it did. Fuck you. Fuck you. Yeah, this wasn't supposed to happen. Okay, so this is going to go on my list of gripes then, quite frankly. There we are. Right, keep those out to the side. Do the same on this side. Bring the leg in, fold it down, lock it in, and then bring the foot down. That's the legs done. Great. Then you want to bring this section back and then bring it down like this. Reveal the head early. Why not? And then do what not Studio Series, Classics 2.0 Cyclonus did with the arms. Like sort of bring the arm sections around. Tab these in if you can. Lock those in. Bring these forward and then bring them back around, and then that will form the arms. And then do the same on the other side. Lock that in. Bring that forward. Spin this round. Bring this section round to the back. And then that is basically, no, it's not. Okay, that... What the fuck isn't that working? Oh, God, I've got time for this, do you know what I mean? Right, that bends like that. There we are, that spins round. That... Fuck me, gel. Stand the piece of shit up. Oh yeah, and you also want to flip around this section just here for his chest. And that right there is Studio Series 86 Blurr. And you know what? I like the robot mode. I don't so much like the transformation, but I like the overall styling of the robot mode. It does look like Blurr, except, however, let me get this in here. That face sculpt there does not look like the animated movie design. He's got some real Cillian Murphy cheekbones going on there. He's got a Bruce Campbell chin thing going on. Therefore, the bottom of his face doesn't quite work. He has got a light piping thing at the back, which sadly is not being shown up with this. Let me see if I can't get the light behind him. There, there's a decent little bit of light piping going on there, if you can see that. But the eyes are so fucking small, you don't really see it. So yeah, it's the transformation is a bit fiddly because there's a lot of clearance issues, as you probably saw or didn't see, depending on how much of that I got on camera. There's a few clearance issues with the terms of trying to get the leg assembly out from underneath the sections that plug into them that will eventually form the arm. So that's a bit of a pain in the arse. I expected maybe the transformation to be a little more, not necessarily straightforward, but a little more fun than it actually is. We can give him his gun. There we are. That fits very nicely into his hand. We'll give him his little repair tool. Why not? That just fits over the hand and then plugs into the gap. And then he's got articulation, where you'd expect to find articulation. Does he look like the fastest Autobot? I don't know, really. There's something there that doesn't clip in the way it's supposed to. It looks like that's supposed to hold in to that little gap just there. That doesn't do that. The limbs aren't loose exactly, but it's very easy to accidentally manipulate them if you're not paying attention. So yeah, I can sort of understand why Blurr isn't as good as you necessarily would think he would be, which is a shame because I can see what they were going for. The design is certainly there. Actually, do you know what? Let's store that in his back. That's the other good thing, is you can lift this up. I can store this away, and then fucking no problems there whatsoever. This thing keeps falling down. These back arm guard things are annoying as fuck. It would have been nice if they could have collapsed in on themselves a little bit. But as a result of this, he becomes very, very fiddly. A bit like Titans Returns Weird Wolf was, in the sense that I'm trying to do things with him. I'm trying to get him in a particular position, and all he keeps doing is wanting to do his own thing, which is slightly fucking annoying. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Studio Series 86 Blurr in all his dubious glory. He's not the worst figure in the world, but he is a bit of a pain in the arse. If you want to try and do something particular with him, and then the limbs and everything decide that they're going to position themselves the way they want to position themselves, I can see how frustration would, see what I mean? It's like I'm trying to position him and he wants to lean back now. Like, just fucking stop it. Yeah, a little bit frustrating when he didn't have to be frustrating. But at the same time, not the worst piece of shit I've got in my collection. So make your own judgments on that, really. So thank you very much for watching this review. This is Joe Gavin Barry, also known as Wolfgang1, saying I'll be back next week with more shit. I think I'm going to do a re-evaluation of Masterpiece Sideswipe, because I've decided I think I'm going to get rid of my Masterpiece boxes and free up 2 shelves in my wardrobe. So in order to do my masterpieces over time, I'm going to do them with the boxes and then throw away the boxes. Same with this one, actually. I'm going to throw away the box for this cunt here. So thank you for watching. I will see you next week. Until we see each other again, take care.